All right. There you go here. Yeah, Jim texts me at like 10. He's like, "Do you have it yet?" I'm like, I literally just opened my eyes. He's trying to watch he's trying to watch the Eagles game.
Oh.
You don't want to be editing during the Eagles game, so.
That's my brother's away team, the Eagles.
Yeah. See, both the teams I like, the Bills and the Raiders, play each other today, so.
Hey.
It's gonna be interesting for me.
The Raiders was my secondary team growing up. My father like bred me to be a Raiders fan. Like I had Raiders sheets like that. Those
I just
starter.
Yeah, I had the Raiders sheets too. I had a locker, like a bunch of the little helmets and shit. But
the garbage.
I only really liked
it
them because Bo Jackson was on them, and then I just kind of stuck with it for a little while after that. But yeah, when they played the Bills, I don't give too much care about them.
My father's a Raiders freak. He's got a Raiders fan personality too, so I can totally see how that works.
Yeah, it sucks they're moving in 2 years. All right, kind of get away from the microphone, please. All right, we are here for you guys. This is the Marvel Minute. This is going to be X-Men Blue number 14, kind of middle of the Mojo-verse story. Jesus Christ. Fucking kid, man. I'm going to start over. We kind of stop leaning on things. Trying to kill herself in this house this week. All right, take two here.
Can't find the notes.
Did you need them again? I sent them to your Twitter this time. They're not in the email.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's what they are. All right, I got it. That's why I'm looking at my email like a dope. All right, I'm good.
All right, here we go. All right, we are back, guys. This is the Marvel Minute, and you have chosen for the book this week, X-Men Blue number 14, which is what, the second X-Men Blue book of Legacy or the first?
Second.
Okay. I keep mixing this crossover up because I thought it was 4 issues at first, but it's apparently 6. So this is right in the middle of the Mojo-verse crossover with Gold. I'm going to fill you in on the events of what's going on here. Tell you guys to buy, borrow, or forget it altogether. And this book be out Black Panther and Silver Surfer. I think I nailed the choices this week. So yeah, I really didn't anticipate it beating out either of those two. And Silver Surfer wasn't really a legacy title, but it was the final issue. So I wanted to see if anybody wanted to hear about that. I guess not. So we're talking X-Men Blue. It
was close, right? It was like
it was pretty close. Silver Surfer got a nice push there at the end.
30-30 and 41.
And every time we put the Black Panther book up, it never gets a lot of votes. So I don't know what that's saying, but anyway, this is written by Cullen Bunn. Our team, Jorge Molina, Matt Milla, and Guru FX is doing colors. Marvel Comics production. Get into the blurb here and sum up this issue for you guys. This was actually a pretty quick one, so there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about, but we'll get into it. Mojo, the big ugly green guy from X-Men lore who runs an endless TV broadcast, has the X-Men split up in fights from different points in their history, battling for their lives. As we jump just past the halfway point of this crossover, let's see if Mojo has any bigger plans in mind beyond just having the X teams continuing his Truman Show charade and potentially killing them off one at a time. That just doesn't all seem right, so let's see what's up. The issue begins here. Basically, like it seems like the news broadcast has kind of intercut Mojo's action here, and they're trying to fill the citizens in on what's going on, but nobody cares. They all want to watch the Mojo program because get a glimpse of like a group of dudes in their apartment seemingly like gathered to watch what would seem to be a football game, kind of like I do every Sunday. But yeah, they're watching just the Mojo people, X-Men in the Mojo universe kill each other. So then Mojo gets the broadcast back. Everyone starts watching again, and he jumps in with some of his over-the-top nonsense. What's he say here? I just wrote in my notes basically he's doing the old Roman trick to keep them entertained. Just keep keep the people happy with people killing each other, and nobody really will bother with the stuff going on outside. You know what I'm saying? Because he's trying to kind of apparently terraform New York City or just the earth in general. It's a little fuzzy, but obviously all these pillars are coming down in primarily New York City from what it looks like. We get a quick recap of the characters who have quote unquote been taken off the board. Logan, Iceman, Storm, Angel, and Bloodstorm look like isn't Bloodstorm just Storm?
No, she's a different version of her, yeah, from like a Hell universe. Madeline Pryor brought her over in the last arc.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been reading the gold issues of this year. I just don't keep up with gold anymore. I don't care for it.
Oh, it's for blue.
Was it a blue issue?
From the last blue. Yeah, it was from when Beast. It was the Beast Magic arc where they talk about where he was getting his magic tutelage from and the drawbacks.
Yeah, I'll have a question on his magic stuff later. I've really fallen off the blue and gold books, I guess, because I've just been hooked on Astonishing and not really caring much about this one. But anyway, we move away from Mojo and we check in on our different teams that have been split up. And the first one is Jean Grey, Jimmy Hudson, Colossus. I think Nightcrawler's mixing around in there as well. And they're kind of off fighting the Brood, it looks like, on this, Brood type planet. And Jean takes a stab from behind. This one Brood has like metal sword type arms, pretty sweet looking. And Jimmy springs into action with Nightcrawler, and they kind of rescue her from the situation. Doesn't this panel in the bottom right where Jean is being rescued by Nightcrawler and Jimmy, doesn't it look like her shoulder is like almost cut off?
Yeah, it does. It does. It looks like it was ripped open.
Gross.
Fucked up.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that right now. But anyway, they're checking on Jean. She's like, I'll be all right. And they basically realize they're in a spawn point of a video game here. They need to get out of this area because all the people they keep fighting and taking care of, just more keep coming up in their spot. So
it's like from everywhere.
Yeah, it's like Marvel Call of Duty Zombies as you get further and further in the level. Like more keep coming up until you're just eventually dead. That's what's going on here.
Well, normally they would be in the setting of like a past X-Men story, but here they got like enemies from like various, like they got people from Apocalypse Wars, they got a Phoenix Sentinel, and then the Brood and Strife is in there. Like, so it's just gone crazy.
Yeah, it's a bonkers simulation. And then Mojo, we flash back to him. He starts dropping more of these golden antenna things that attract and trap X-Men. And this time it looks like he runs into Magneto, Danger, and Polaris. And they're going to start joining this Mojo World Fund, trying to get the... Well, basically, Magneto's concerned with the kids. That's kind of his responsibility. And he's even risking revealing himself not being dead to, get them to safety, basically. Yeah, so they enter the Mojoverse and are transported basically to the mutant massacre, and they're facing off with some Morlocks and Sabretooth, and that's what they're facing down in the sewers here. We flash back to Team 1. I like the way Cyclops looks in this panel.
Yeah,
here.
Me too.
We got
the
Rachel
AVX
Summers.
Cyclops.
Yeah, Rachel Summers, Cyclops, Long Shot. I don't like the way he looks at all. And Kitty Pryde.
I like the mullet.
You really like his haircut? Is this the same Long Shot we're dealing with in Cable, or is this a different version of him?
It's a different time period. Yeah, so a different version. So I think.
Okay. Yeah, because he looks like super young in this.
Yeah, I don't like the mullet. I was saying I hate that mullet.
Oh, I thought you said you liked the mullet. I'm like, oh
no, I hate mullets. Fuck mullets.
Yeah, it looks pretty trashy even on Long Shot. Anyway, they're in a different battle, surviving a fight with, again, like you said, it's the AVX Cyclops, so they're fighting some Avengers here. Longshot gets the idea to basically rig some of these cameras floating around to teleport them out of the area. Cool little thing happens because one of his powers is luck, where Spider-Man's about to hit him from behind, and this Captain America shield comes flying out of nowhere to take him out. So he ends
Yeah,
up
that was cool.
Yeah, I like that too. It took me a minute to figure out. I'm like, why is Captain America hitting Spider-Man if they're on the same team? But then like you can see in his word bubble the luck word is highlighted, and it reminded me, oh yeah, that's what his power is. So yeah, he ends up transporting the X-Men out of this fight, but he doesn't know where to exactly. We'll figure that out in a second after we check in on Mojo, who's reacting to Longshot getting the X-Men out of the trap he had set up for them, this AVX trap. So he's snapping about how what happened is unacceptable and we need to find them. In the meantime, he's going to bump the ratings by increasing the difficulty on Magneto and company in the sewers. And they are going to have to deal with Apocalypse. So superpowered Apocalypse. Not that you need to make Apocalypse more difficult to deal with.
No. I love Polaris tells Magneto, she's like, you're having too much fun.
Yeah. I said they just changed Apocalypse up to the Mike Tyson level punch-out difficulty, and they're going to have to deal with that now. Then we flash back to basically mostly the blue team, so the Jean, Jimmy, Beast, Colossus group of people. You even see that they have like the Colossus from Age of Apocalypse crossover that just happened not long ago, with the giant sword and the hoodie and stuff.
Yeah, the Deadpool Moon Knight.
Yeah, so they're just fighting all sorts of random dudes here. And Beast is like, well, let me try this to get us out of here. And he turns to the magic powers he's been developing. It's Jean, right? That's whose hand is trying to reach him and tell him no.
Yep.
Because you know what can happen if you keep, embracing this magic. And he basically starts turning into Dark Beast, right? That's who it looks like, but more gray version.
It's kind of like a beast goat. Like because when that last arc happened right before this, where we deal with Beast's magic powers, Madeline Pryor, like it's kind of like infect him. So anytime like he goes full magic, he turns into that devil goat beast.
But it doesn't stick around and it goes away after a while, or
if he just has to stop.
Like half the panel, Longshot basically interrupts him. And I haven't been following this Beast magic stuff. I've known about it, but I haven't known the development that happened. Like I said, I'm 2 issues behind here. But he's still Dark Beast. Longshot's like, we're gonna get you out of here. You can see like his furry feet still at the bottom. And then in the next panel, he's back to being normal when they all reach, I don't know, like Mojo versus headquarters. I don't really know where they're in like some random hallway here. So it just goes away if he doesn't complete the spell or after so long.
Once he stops using magic, he just has to stop using, because if he keeps using magic and he goes to that place, it's harder for him to like get back, because he just can't stop.
Yeah, so this is going to be the way they get Beast to be hairy for the young guys probably eventually. And because he realizes it's not something he should be entertaining, but he wants to save the X-Men. So it's kind of, an if so facto thing going on. But yeah, they end up conveniently being right in front of this door that Jimmy cuts open. They bust in and find all the quote unquote dead X-Men from the simulations. So, all the people I mentioned in the beginning. And Beast is like, oh, this isn't too overcomplicated to free them. And then they're all free. So they're all thawed out from the deep freeze they were in. And they start walking down this hallway. They realize they're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, I don't know where they thought they were. They're like in a full-blown Mojo world as Mojo unleashes more golden antenna and really spills the beans about his terraforming plan going on. So he wants to basically turn New York City into another Mojo world, kind of broadcast.
He wants to bring it over
things from here and then have a bunch of fun. Kind of a weird cliffhanger. I didn't expect. I don't know. I expected more, I guess, because then I'm like, oh, that's kind of it for the cliffhanger. But yeah, it was. What 2 more what
issues? 2 more issues to go. After this.
2 more issues of the crossover. Yeah, so. The cliffhanger here is basically, more of these antenna coming down, and we'll figure out what happens in the next issue of Gold and 1 more issue of Blue before it wraps up. But you know how we do things here, guys. We tell you to to buy it, to borrow it, or forget it altogether. I know this is a favorite book of Rich Richardson. He was all pumped up that this won. But I've actually enjoyed X-Men Blue so much more when it's not involved in crossovers, and I don't know, when it's not involved with gold, really, because I've really not liked the 05, the original 5 X-Men coming back, but this book has kind of, you know, changed my mind on that a little bit, and I just don't want to see them mixing it up with the other X-Men book I'm not enjoying, which is gold. So it's kind of a little downer, and you don't get a whole lot of focus on the characters you come to the book for. It is a crossover, so it's not a huge deal because you know what you're getting into, but this was a super action-heavy issue. You know, not a whole lot happened. It kind of alternated between these gold antennas keep repeatedly coming down and small little action snippets. The Beast stuff is interesting, so I want to catch up and figure out what's going on with there. But overall, this is still just like a borrow level crossover to me. I don't, not super motivated in finishing it, but I will. I'm more interested in seeing what comes up after this Mojo stuff with the blue team than I am where they're currently at in this book. So yeah, I don't know. It's not. It was an all right issue. It wasn't total garbage, but I didn't. Not fully recommending everyone go out and buy it. Really, is kind of where I'm at with this one. What about you?
Definitely not if you haven't read the past 3 issues. I can say that. I think they're going to 2099 after this arc. They're going to the future.
Oh, really?
I mean, the way it's set up, like, if you didn't read the issues before it, I wouldn't recommend like hopping on now, because the way this book is written, even though it's written by 2 different writers, is like it's written as one whole story. So like you're in the middle of the story, so it's, you know, it kind of throw everybody off. I mean, I like it. It reminds me of like a classic X-Men crossover, like from the 90s. Like it has that 90s X-Men crossover feel. I really like the art so far. I've liked Mike Mayhew was a little off, but Mark Lamming, who's been doing art on Gold, is pretty good. And it's some of the best stuff that Guggenheim has done since he started on X-Men Gold, because I haven't liked a single issue of Gold until this crossover started.
I know. Every arc feels like it's 2 or 3 issues, and it literally wraps up at breakneck pace. Like you don't even get a chance to catch your breath, and the story you're maybe even kind of enjoying is already over, and it's a weird book.
It sets up stuff. It's constantly setting stuff up, and we never get there. It feels like it always feels like it's setting something up for the future that we never get to.
Yeah. Like the first 6 issues set up all that mutant hunter thing, and then that guy was pretty much dealt with in an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And then they had that Sentinel issue,
I mean, like that,
and that came up later, but not really. And it's just, I don't know, it's not that great. But I like this. I like this crossover. I've really enjoyed it so far. It does, like when you read this issue, it is like a middle of the crossover issue, so it's all action. It's taking you at like where it's gonna go to next, where the next Gold issue is gonna start up. So you know, it's the middle of the story, so it is a little down, but you know, it's all just one story. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I really like Jorge Molina's art. He's one of my favorite artists. I'm happy to have him back on Blue. I hope he sticks around for the next arc, but who knows with artists these days. You know, if you've been reading the crossover, I would say keep reading it. It's a buy, but if you're not reading it, then don't bother. It'd be retarded just to pick it up now in the middle and start reading it. For me, I really enjoyed it. It's a buy. I like where it's going, and I like how it feels. Like I've been reading a lot of old X-Men lately, and this gave me that feeling I get when I read the old X-Men stuff. So
yeah, just the big thing, like I thought it was kind of interesting that they were, you know, kind of nipping off the X-Men one at a time, and then they just go and get them out like it's no big deal in this issue and take kind of all the stakes out of the story, which bothered me a little bit too. So
I knew they weren't going to die, because like it's not like they're going to kill young Bobby.
You know they're not going to die, but I would have, if they're going to take the guys off the board a couple issues ago, I don't want to see them back on the board, you know, 2 issues later. It's just a little weird they did that. But yeah, that's about it for this week. We're going to throw 3 more books on the Marvel Madness podcast. It's going to be U.S. Avengers. It's going to be Black Panther, and it's going to be what's the third one we're talking about? All New Wolverine. There it is. So if you want to hear those books, well, you can find us there, and we'll throw this Marvel Minute at the end of the podcast, like a post-credits scene. So X-Men Blue will be in there for you as well. But that's it for us, guys. You know where to find us. If you're looking for us throughout the week on Twitter, I'm at Beamer3660. Trevitt, where are you?
I'm at Afronatic.
All right, and we will talk to you guys next week. I got a Bills game to watch, so good luck to me, and peace out.